Something big just happened behind the scenes of the Joseph of Egypt series, and most people don't even know about it yet. Filming has wrapped, the cast is stepping away from set for the last time, and we finally have a real look into what's been happening during production. The surprising part: this entire project has been kept far more secret than anything we've seen before. No daily updates, no endless streams of footage. It almost feels like the production has been locked behind a door that only a few people could open. But now the door is cracked, and what's inside is a mix of huge reveals, early footage teases, surprising cast interactions, and questions about what this first live-action spin-off will really feel like. Let's break down everything we learned, and everything we still need to know. One of the first big surprises is that insiders were allowed onto the set of Joseph of Egypt in New Mexico. And this wasn't a small visit. They met Joseph, his brothers, Jacob, and several key people involved in shaping this series. They saw scenes being filmed, watched a cast work in full costume, and got their first true sense of the scale of this production. Even more interesting, this series is being funded directly by Amazon. That means a completely different team is behind it, not the one that fans are used to. The writers are new, the directors are new, the crew members are new, and although it's still connected to the familiar universe, this is the very first time the creative control is being shared. It's a bold move, and with any big shift like this, questions naturally follow. Will it still feel the same? Will the tone match? Will the characters still carry the emotional depth that made fans fall in love with the original series? These questions aren't small, and they definitely aren't ignored. Even the show's creator admits that he isn't directing this new project. He isn't leading the writing. He isn't the person shaping the day-to-day production. Instead, another trusted team has taken the reins. He described the process as a partnership. The spin-off is still overseen by the same studio at a very high level, but he's not the one handling every detail. That alone creates curiosity. It's a leap of trust. And with Amazon funding the show, expectations are even higher. Bigger budget usually means bigger pressure. But here's where things get interesting. The creator revealed that fans attending an event in 2026 might actually get to see a full episode of Joseph of Egypt, a shocking preview more than a year before the expected release in 2027. That is extremely rare. Studios almost never reveal finished episodes that early. This instantly raises the stakes and shows how confident the team might be in the quality of what they've created. After that reveal, the insiders finally stepped onto the actual set in Albuquerque. The production built everything there, every structure, every environment, every corner of Joseph's world. Meeting the cast begins with Jacob, Joseph, and all the brothers. The actors are introduced one by one, each sharing insights about their characters and the emotional depth that the show demands. When the showrunner speaks, he explains that his job is to watch everything, guide the season, and carry the weight of every creative decision. Even though the original director isn't physically present on set, the team describes him as being there in spirit because he helped design the story and structure before production began. Still, the showrunner is the one making sure every moment aligns with the vision. One of the early surprises is seeing the actor who plays Jacob. Many fans recognize him from classic sci-fi, and it's almost surreal to see him step into a biblical role. He talks about the emotional and spiritual layers of Jacob's character, how he's a tough man shaped by a harsh environment, how he carries the weight of fatherhood, and how he still maintains a deep, beating heart beneath the surface. Then, we shift to the brothers. Reuben is introduced first as Joseph's oldest sibling. He describes how he grew up being the natural heir but ended up overlooked by his father. That emotional wound shapes him deeply and explains why his relationship with Joseph is complicated. Simeon is introduced with even sharper intensity. As the second oldest, he sees himself as the fighter of the family, the one with both strength and a protective edge, yet also the one who might resent Joseph the most. The actor playing Joseph finally steps forward, sharing how overwhelming it feels to carry a story so well known. He has to portray Joseph across many different ages, as a teenager, a prisoner, a servant, and eventually the second most powerful man in Egypt. That means shifting personalities, shifting emotions, and shifting levels of maturity. He calls the challenge massive, but also exciting. Another interesting moment is when one actor compares biblical storytelling to science fiction. He says both allow audiences to explore life from a different angle without raising their defenses. This comment sparks a conversation about the difference between parables, imagination, and historical events. The series still wants to respect the weight of scripture while exploring the human side of each moment. From here, the cast dives deeper into Joseph's family dynamics. Jacob loved Rachel so deeply that he waited 14 years before finally being allowed to marry her. Because Joseph is Rachel's son, the favoritism is undeniable. This favoritism shapes Joseph's confidence and also shapes his brother's jealousy. The actors talk about this tension with surprising honesty. They discuss trauma, expectations, survival, insecurity, rejection, and the family patterns that repeat across generations. The discussion shifts to a question that has puzzled readers for centuries. Why did Joseph never send word back home after rising to power in Egypt? He could have reached out. He could have sent a letter. He could have eased his father's sorrow, but he didn't. And that gap alone gives the series room to explore the emotional and psychological inner world of Joseph, his conflict, his fear, his guilt, or even his uncertainty about the future. This type of human depth mirrors the artistic approach of the source universe, where the writers add realistic layers without altering the key events. They fill in emotions, not scriptures. As the actors speak, they highlight how each brother carries his own story. Each one has a different reason for feeling wounded, lost, angry, or scared. When they debate Joseph's fate while he's in the pit, whether to leave him, sell him, or kill him, each choice comes from a believable place. One brother fears abandonment, another wants justice, another is fighting for survival. The show doesn't excuse their choices, but it lets the audience understand them. There's even a moment of humor when the cast talks about how many actors share the same names as the characters they aren't playing. The mix-up becomes a running joke on set, showing how much they've bonded as a group. Toward the end of filming, emotions run high. Cast members hug, thank each other, and talk about how much they've learned. One actor even mentions having sons older than the actor playing Joseph, which makes the bond feel even more meaningful. The final conversations reveal something important. The music team was initially worried the spin-off wouldn't feel connected, but after watching early cuts, they were surprised by how natural the connection felt. Even without the original director leading the project, the heart of the universe seems to carry through. The creators wanted it to feel familiar yet fresh, and early reactions suggest they succeeded. As filming wrapped just a short time ago, the long wait begins. The release is still planned for 2027, which means fans have well over a year before they see the final product. But based on what the cast, crew, and early viewers have shared, the series aims to honor the deep history of Joseph's story while bringing out emotional layers that audiences may have never considered. This spin-off isn't just another show. It's a chance to revisit one of the most powerful stories of forgiveness, betrayal, resilience, and family in ancient history. And when the episode preview arrives more than a year early, it might be the first real moment where fans see just how ambitious this project truly is. As the excitement builds, the only question left is simple. Will this new series exceed expectations and expand the universe in a meaningful way? Based on everything we've seen so far, the answer feels very promising.